This is my video blog assignment for English 205-17. The paper that I chose to read was my critical analysis of Claude McKay's If We Must Die. My introduction starts. Festus Claudius, or Claude McKay, was a Jamaican poet. He was a key asset during the time of the Harlem Renaissance. It is no surprise that his poem, If We Must Die, is one of his most notable works. Although this poem is short in length, it is filled with symbols and imagery that is meant to tear at the hearts and mind of anyone who reads it. If We Must Die was written during a time when racism between black and white people was at an all-time high. One thing that McKay is saying in this work is that if white people wanted black people gone, they were going to have to fight them. There was a time when black people would sit and take the racial comments and discrimination that would be thrown their way by white people, but in this work, McKay declares no more. McKay is trying to get the black community to stand and fight back against the people who have so harshly spoken against them. He is also saying that this fight could possibly end in death, but people are willing to take that chance. By exploring If We Must Die deeper, an issue that can be seen is the fact that people have a problem overcoming obstacles when they are faced with them. It can also be realized that most people are afraid of death, so they will not fight when the time comes. However, this work tells that there is a way to fight with dignity, and if/when dying comes, there is a way to die with honor. By understanding this, it would decrease the sense of separation between the black community and call for unity for them to fight as one when they are oppressed. My first body paragraph. There will always be obstacles that stand in the way of people getting to the things that they want and in some cases need. Obstacles are meant to be overcome, but how can one do the work it takes to overcome the obstacle with the constant fear that they will never overcome? A reader can determine that even though McKay is not denying the fact that there will be obstacles, a fight to overcome can still occur. The poem starts by saying, If we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and pinned in an inglorious spot. This quote states that black people already know that they will die, but they wish to die unlike animals. There is no way to avoid the inevitable obstacle, which in this case is a fight against white people. However, there is a way to make sure that the death that is caused by this fight will not make black people appear as animals. Another obstacle that the reader may see in this work is people overcoming their pride. Think about it. These people are skeptical about the fight because they already feel as if they are going to lose. This creates an issue because in the case of this fight, these are men who must deal with losing a fight that they know they need to win to prove a point against the people that they are fighting. Losing anything, be it a game or a war, has always minimized a person's pride. This situation is no different. However, McKay is saying that there is a way to overcome the obstacle of losing pride by fighting the war with their head held high, whether they win or lose the fight. My second body paragraph. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. This quote speaks volume because McKay is not denouncing that there will be death, but rather he is saying that when the time comes to die, it must be done nobly or with honor. The problem is that people are afraid of death and dying in the first place. Death is something that everyone will eventually face, but it is still a very difficult subject for most people. McKay is trying to get the reader to see that there is no way to run from death. However, there is a way to die with honor, but a fight must occur first. This quote also states that even though people do not want to fight, once they do start fighting, it will not be in vain. The fight of which McKay is speaking is more than just a fight between black and white people physically. This is a fight against every disrespectful and hurtful thing that white people have done to black people up to this point, such as having them enslaved, calling them niggas and negroes, and unfit to live humans. This is a fight to let white people know that black people are tired of the constant disrespect and they are finally doing something about it. Even though they know that they may lose the fight, they are still fighting to prove the point that they have had enough. My third body paragraph. The ending of this poem reiterates the whole message. Like men, we'll face the murderous, cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying, but fighting back. Notice that McKay does not say like a man, but instead he says men in the plural sense. This is very important because he is showing that this fight is too much for one person. This fight calls for the unity of the entire black community. There is so much separation within the black community today, and there is no need for it. Although this poem was written long before the black community was experiencing the problems that it is now, this poem can and should still hit the hearts of black people hard. The sooner people of the black community realize that they should unite and continue to fight the same fight that was being fought then, the better the black community will be. Even though death is in the future by fighting this fight, at least people can say that for once, black people put up a good fight and they honestly fought to the death. My conclusion paragraph. If We Must Die was written to pierce the heart of every black man and woman. This poem was written to show that this fight between the races is a long-going fight. McKay wrote this poem in hopes that the black community would understand and take heed to the severity of this fight. For the longest time, white people have slandered black people both with words and actions. This poem is meant to show that the black community is ready to fight. However, the black community cannot fight if they are separated. This fight is bigger than just one black man and one black woman. This is a fight that is meant for the whole black community to take part of. The fear of death and the fear of a loss of pride is evident among people today, but the fight still must take place. Once people realize that this fight is not just about one person, but instead the community, they will be able to stand up and fight this fight together. The fear of losing the fight and the fear of dying because of the fight cannot stop people from fighting. The unity of the black community depends on people realizing that this fight is bigger than them. Once people come to that realization, the circumstances of the black community will turn around. There will be less killing of black people by white people and less killing of black people by each other. The black community will be stronger than it has ever been, and if people remember why they are fighting, the black community will continue to grow stronger.